These are Palestinian celebrations in the wake of Tuesday's terror attacks in the United States.
You know, it's one thing to be skeptical about the information that we receive on a daily basis, to, look deeper into these sort of conclusions that are delivered to us by media or even the people within our own personal lives. But I think it's something entirely different when you start delving into, dare I say, losing yourself in the endless rabbit holes that now exist for just about anybody with any sort of curiosity, right? You can get to the bottom of things, but you can also get to the bottomlessness of certain things. And so when it comes to what I believe to be one of the most, if not the most traumatic days in American history, which is September the 11th, 2021, it's one of those subjects where you can damn near go down an endless rabbit hole of just what whoever the hell you're listening to in that moment believes actually happened. There are bodies of research, but there's also bodies of, literature, personal accounts, as well as individuals who believe themselves to be the arbiters of all truth when it comes to the events that took place on that day. But, as much as I am an individual who does my best to do my due diligence and to get deep into these subjects, I still know that I am basing things off of my own perception of the world. Right? There are truths, inherent truths. There are, stories that check out, especially when you speak of historically and that are outside of our own life experience. I mean, tell that even in our own lives, sometimes we say things or we believe things that didn't happen in the way we believe them. I listen to as many psychologists and therapists and things of that nature as I can in order to balance out the political and social perspectives to really get an understanding of people. And something that's come up over and over again is how human beings will create memories. So we will recreate a memory every time we bring that memory back up. And sometimes it gets more and more tragic, or sometimes it gets better and better, right? Sometimes we use our story for attention, for validation, to feel importance, etc. And so it gets drastically worse and worse. And this is not to minimize anybody's trauma, but this is just, this is how we operate as people. And so how much more can we do that with the things that we actually don't know about? Now, again, when it comes to September the 11th, 2021, there are many things that we may never know completely and absolutely. But what we do know for a fact is that there was a group of people who came from a very specific ideological background that were participants and that celebrated the events, the tragedies, I'm not going to dilute it, the massacring of innocent people on September the 11th. And so I came across this video here. I have never seen this. Maybe some of y'all, saw this exact video. I just heard about this, that after this took place, there was celebration coming from certain people. And the reason I'm getting into this is because, there's some things that also need to be debunked, and lies, that revisionist history that is being told by what I believe are sort of malicious or nefarious actors, like people who do not have the best interest of anybody but themselves. So-called influencers are spreading these lies. But let's get into the video, and then I'll see you guys on the other side.
From the West Bank, these are Palestinian celebrations in the wake of Tuesday's terror attacks in the United States. Apparently, Palestinians took to the street chanting, "God is great." People were throwing candy, distributing candy to passersby. The U.S. government obviously has become increasingly unpopular, particularly in the West Bank and Gaza Strip, because Palestinians feel that the U.S. government has sided with Israel. One man, Nawal Abdel Fattah, wearing a long black dress, threw sweets in the air, saying, actually that's a woman, pardon me, saying she was happy because, quote, America is the head of the snake. America always stands by Israel in its war against us. Meanwhile, Yasser Arafat emerged.
So why should we care about this specific event and the details of it in this year? besides the aspects of memorializing it, of mourning the 3,000 plus individuals who lost their lives on that day, whose lives were taken on that day. Besides that, why focus in on it? Well, simple. Because I am seeing a very dangerous trend. And it's not the sort of trend, where you have cyclical things, right? It's like I'm wearing this sort of jean jacketish thing. I don't know if this is in or not. I don't necessarily follow, trends as far as fashion goes, but this has made its way in and out. Let's just say that, right? There was a time when maybe your mom or maybe grandmother, auntie, or whatever used to wear this. Your pops used to have the old jean jacket sort of fit going on, jean on jean. But the trend I'm talking about is we're going in a very dangerous direction. And I'm seeing this scaling fast. Right? We see the Jew hatred. That's no surprise. We talk about it here quite frequently. But folks think it starts and stops there because most people genuinely, if it's not at their front door, then they don't care about the circumstances or the outcomes of the things they even do, the words they say. They don't take any sort of responsibility. I'm not just talking about your little brother or whatever. I'm talking about people who call themselves influencers, who put themselves in front of, the public and proclaim these quote unquote truths. They don't hold themselves accountable of the lives that are lost on the back of the words that they're espousing, on the lies that they're telling, on the revising of history that then creates a dangerous environment for people. And so the reason I'm getting into this specifically is because, and there was actually a very specific person, Anna Kasparian, who I was almost starting to believe was having some sort of shift in consciousness. She was having a little bit of an awakening over there. But now I realize, she's not even close. She recently came out and essentially espoused that, Israel, the Jews, were responsible in September the 11th. That's what she claimed. As many others, she's not unique in this. Many of them are not unique in anything, to be honest. But the reason why this caught my attention is because it's curious that, that's the statement she would make when we have actual evidence. We have proclamations of a group of people right next door who were celebrating on that day. We don't have footage of Israelis coming together in the streets and throwing a damn parade about this. All we have are speculations. And by the way, shout out to, I think it was, her name is Insurrection Barbie. I still want to know who you are. I think I may know who was behind that X account. She follows me actually. So if you're willing to reveal yourself, maybe that's a part of the whole thing. I have my speculations, but she shared this specific video in response to Ann Kasparian. And again, for me, it's deeply fascinating how one can live in such a state of cognitive dissonance, if I can even call it that. Maybe that's not the word for it. But how can you live in this place of seeing what you see, but still having to create a story that is the antithesis or the opposite of it, just because it fulfills a certain narrative or agenda that you have? How is it even possible? Okay, so you have statements, you claim, because that's what a theory is before it is proven. So you have a theory that it was the Jews who did this, right? Even though Osama himself lets you know exactly why he did what he did. He has an entire history of doing the very same thing throughout the Middle East. He was kicked out of Saudi Arabia and sent to Sudan because he was such a threat to even his own people and their own alliances and allegiances. He forms Al-Qaeda. That's what we're talking about, right? That guy gets dismissed completely. The man who said that he believes in the same thing Hamas believes, and he said this decades ago, that man is the one that we decide we're going to side with, or at least we're going to ignore, so we can replace with the boogeyman of the Jew. This is how you know you're not dealing with serious people, but they are dealing with serious things. And I say, if you don't know what the hell you're on, then get out the if you don't know how to cook, get out the kitchen. If you don't know how to cook, get the hell out the kitchen. Simple. Don't go in there messing with stuff. Now you're mixing stuff together. That's going to get somebody stomach flu. And no. We don't need that. Get out the damn kitchen. But they've chosen to be in the kitchen and they're burning down the damn kitchen. Like I say, let them cook. Sometimes they will cook you a Michelin star level meal. Sometimes they will burn down the entire damn kitchen. And that's what we're witnessing. So we have a video of so-called Palestinians on, I was about to say October 7th, Freudian slip. It's pretty much in direct alignment here, right? Same celebrations were being had after October 7, 2023. October. Did I say October, September? You catch what I'm throwing. September the 11th. America's most tragic day in its entire history. The most massive attack we have had on soil is being celebrated actively in the next couple of days by this group of people who believe us to be the big devil, the head of the snake. These aren't new things that wish death upon us. This was way before Trump existed. Are you kidding me? DJT was still somewhere in Manhattan, brokering deals for $1 million suites. These people have always had the same intention. And we kind of understood at that time the threat. We kind of understood it. I don't know the extent because, I was a youngster at the time. I don't know the extent at which we understood. But now, as a grown man, I've come to realize, we probably did. We did not take this serious at all. Why? Because right now, New York City is about to elect its very first jihadist mayor. A mayor who believes that America did it to themselves. And the thing that's crazy is not that he believes that, because I'm not surprised a jihadist believes in jihadist ideology. What breaks my heart is that there are Americans, people who claim to be about America, who will say the exact same thing. Not just will vote this dude into office. There are dudes. There are individuals who will oppose him, but still stand in opposition to Israel on the basis of what? On the basis of theory, whilst ignoring, and this is where we get, I don't care if you are indifferent. Indifference, okay, cool. Go be indifferent over there. Get out the damn kitchen. Go be indifferent over there. But once you start espousing these things and saying these things, what you are is you are enabling the behavior of the terror. You're enabling the behavior of Al-Qaeda. If you point to another direction other than where you should be pointing, it's, I drew this analogy for my lady the other day. Well, it was probably a couple weeks back. And I said, imagine if somebody is, if somebody breaks into a house, let's say your neighbor, right, has a break-in and somebody sees the break-in. They see who did it. They see what they took, etc. They even know why they did it. And then they go and investigate that neighbor's house to say, hey, you know what happened? And that neighbor says that you did it. You saw you saw the whole thing go down. You saw the other neighbor, witnessing the thing. You saw less than they did, but they saw the whole thing go down. And they point to you and say, you did it. How would you feel? Like, I know myself, and as emotionally mature as I'd like to think I am, I would lose my damn mind in that moment. I would act a fool. to be accused at that level, knowing, but he did. No. It was him, officer. And so the attention goes to somebody who had nothing to do with it, while the perpetrator gets to walk around scot-free and continue doing the very same thing over and over again. And that's the only genuine fear that I have, is you're so fixated on the theory that you can't get to the real. You know, it's the same thing with this entire, there's these massive PDF file rings in Israel, etc., right? And I say, okay, that's curious to me, because there didn't seem to be an emphasis when, there was scandal around the Catholic Church. For some reason, that just, it disappeared into the ether. A massive scandal that was uncovered and was realized. Now, was there justice around that? That's real. That happened. This is speculation. Which one are we going to spend our time, energy, and attention on? Some would say both. I say, fantastic, let's do both. But why are you ignoring this one in order to go to that one? Hey, I'm trying to create cognitive dissonance for you. I want you to go, I want you to do that. I want you to see how ridiculous this is. You have these people.
By the U.S. government obviously has become increasingly unpopular, particularly in the West Bank and Gaza Strip, because Palestinians feel that the U.S. government has sided with Israel.
Now, and I want to point this out. Some people hear this and say, see, Israel, they did it. It's the reason it's Israel. Even back then, they knew it was Israel. These are people who have it in their book that Israel must be destroyed. The Jew must be eliminated off the basis of them being Jews. And if you get a little deeper into it, you'll realize that the Prophet Muhammad had a little thing against the Jews because, they would not submit to him. Imagine that. Always comes back to the ego of the so-called Prophet Muhammad. So you have them celebrating the loss of your brothers, your sisters, your mothers, your fathers, your aunties, your uncles, your grandparents, your best friends, your colleagues, co-workers, your high school sweetheart, people who you loved, or the people who love the ones you love, because some might be 2-3 degrees of separation. You know somebody who knows a person who lost somebody, right? And yet you're willing to sit there or stand there and say, well, look at the Jew. When you have this going on right in front of you, the very same people who are finessing you into empathizing for them are celebrating the demise of your children, the demise of your fathers and your mothers and your grandparents, who wanted to destroy you completely. Because remember, it wasn't just the towers. We have the Pentagon. Remember that they were looking to crash multiple sites. I know Westerners, or Americans specifically, Western Europe, as well as the United States, Canada, who don't care. They don't want to care. And I can't make you care. But one thing I just will not hold myself back from doing is from warning you to say, look, you don't have to pick a side. You can stand in the middle and let the wind blow where it may. But if you don't understand what is happening, if you don't get it, still, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to get you to a place where you are so mentally and emotionally prepared that you can just go, oh, that's what that is. Oh, that's what that whacked out guy on YouTube was talking about. That's what was okay. Oh, See, there's folks in the UK right now. They already have their moment. Spain, that's what he meant. United States, we're actually going to have a man on the show, Brad, who is running for the governor of Minnesota. So by the time y'all see this, maybe maybe that interview will already be put out or something of that nature. Sometimes I put out the videos whenever I feel, they need to go out in essence. So sometimes there may be a video that goes out a week later or whatever it may be. I used to try to keep up just with the news cycles, but things be going so fast. Sometimes it's like, okay, I get to it when I understand it. I get to it when I get to it. Or sometimes if it's not up my wheelhouse, it's not for me to get to, I guess. There's so much going on. But, that man right there running for Minnesota governor, I hope we can get some answers to, what are you seeing here? Because you have, you have this movement of Islam in your state. An occupancy, right? 60 plus thousand Muslim Somalians who have somehow overnight appeared in this region. What's going on there? What's up with that? Why is Sharia law being pushed for? Why are there these politicians that already are established, the Ilhan Omars of the world, etc., that are so anti-America, but yet are ruling over Americans, have legislative power over Americans? What's going on there? I want to be able to ask those questions, But again, for the time being, I'm not the I told you so guy, because I don't get a fix off of that. I don't like being right in that way. I genuinely hope I'm wrong in every single thing here, and we're just going to have a little kumbaya, for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. But the way that we're going, this story's been written before. Like this, it's a repetition. You know what I mean? This, like they say, there's nothing new under the sun. The only thing new is going to be our response to it. Do we stand up for Western values, Western liberties? Do we stand up to tyranny? Do we stand up to the lies? Do we stand up for the truth in spite of what the consequences may be? Oh, I get fired from my job. Are you willing to stand anyway? If you're not willing to lose anything for it and gain life, I don't know what I can give you. I don't know what I can tell you. If everything's just going to be bowing the knee, good luck. Good luck. Again, I'm not trying to scare you and say, oh, you're going to have some person, do something to himself. I don't want you looking around you paranoid, but I want you to be versed. I want you to understand, and I want you to have a voice. I speak so you can speak. Simple as that. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace.
Aquarius. Where? I've been up for hours, I've been up for days, staring at the ceiling, I've been counting strays, I've been in my feelings, I've been out of mind. I've been getting visions of the other kind. I've been up for weeks. I'm in the counting blessings over counting sheep. I can never be the type to limit when it comes to me. I used to be the pleaser for the people. I